Hey guys, it's DBWhatIfs here with part 8. I appreciate you guys for sticking through this what if for this long. We're nearing the end of the original Dragon Ball's Season 1. We left off with our group stuck in a glass ceiling room outside of Pilaf's castle. Oolong had taken the wish just like in the original and wished for the world's most comfortable pair of underwear. Let's get this what if going. Goku, Yamcha, Bulma, Puar, and Oolong are trapped in a secure steel room with a glass ceiling. Goku's Kamehameha isn't effective, nor is Yamcha's Wolf Fang Fist. Puar is then seen looking up at the sky. Oolong asks, "Hey Puar, why are you looking up at the moon? Aren't you worried about tomorrow?" Puar responds, "Of course I am, but I can't help but feel relaxed when looking up at the moon. It's so full and soothing." Goku then chimes in and says, "Did you guys know that every full moon, a terrible monster comes out?" Bulma cuts him off and says, "This is no time for jokes or stories, kid." Goku shakes his head and says, No, it's true. That big monster was the one who ended my grandpa's life." Yamcha yelled out in surprise, "Grandpa Gohan? The supreme martial arts master? That must be one big terrible monster." Goku nodded, then said, "Oh yeah, it destroyed our house and took down our trees." Oolong then asked, "What did it look like, Goku?" Goku scratched his head and said, "I don't know. I slept through the whole thing." Oolong asked, "How did you sleep through that with a giant monster destroying everything?" Goku shrugs, then says, "The last thing I remember is my grandpa telling me about the full moon and how I should never ever look at it." The group tenses up. The group then inched away from Goku slowly. Bulma asked, "Goku, did you happen to look up at the full moon the night your grandfather passed?" Goku stared at the group with a blank expression and said, "Yeah, I think so. Why?" The group then believed that Goku was the monster from the story, but found it too risky to have Goku look at the moon to verify their suspicions. Bulma warned Goku, "Okay, whatever you do, don't look up at the full moon right above you." Goku then instinctively looked up at the full moon above him. The group tensed up once more, and after a moment, Goku turns back to face them and says, "What's the big deal? It's just the moon." The group takes a deep breath, realizing that it was just in fact a story. Suddenly, Goku's body tenses up, starts to convulse slightly. The group panics. Bulma said, "Knock it off, Goku. This isn't funny." Suddenly, Goku started to grow, and hair grew on his arms until suddenly, he had transformed into a giant monkey. His sheer size alone had cracked the glass ceiling that was containing them. Yamcha yelled out, "We have to get out of here." Yamcha, Bulma, Oolong, and Puar ran away from the room and Goku. Goku's power level was about 50 by the time they got locked into the room, making his power level 500 when in his grade ape form, making him the strongest character in the original Dragon Ball series already. Goku, in his grade ape form, began destroying Pilaf's castle. Pilaf, Shu, and Mai's sleeping area was exposed by Goku rampaging around. They screamed as Goku started smashing their castle to bits, sending them flying into rubble. Bulma twisted her ankle and said, "Ow, Yamcha, help me, please." Yamcha immediately blushed and said, "I don't know, I can't." Oolong spoke up and said, "You have to. Please." Puar chimed in and said, "You can do it, Yamcha." Goku then threw a boulder towards the group as Yamcha picked them all up and began running like his life quite literally depended on it. He made it a safe distance away and sat them down. Bulma blushed and said, "Thank you for being my knight in shining armor." Yamcha blushed back. Meanwhile, the Pilaf gang had gotten away in their plane. Pilaf looked down at his currently being destroyed castle and said, "Turn this plane around. I can't bear to see my castle getting destroyed by some giant stupid monkey." The plane got turned around and Pilaf yelled, "Fire!" The plane began firing bullets at Goku, who wasn't fazed in the slightest by the bullets and continued rampaging around the castle. Pilaf then said, "Use our secret weapon, now." The plane opened a hatch on the bottom to reveal a nuke-like missile. The missile fired at Goku, and the missile got a reaction from Goku, who appeared to become irritated by the missile, but he remained standing. Goku then swatted the plane out of the sky, breaking a wing and causing the plane to spiral out of control off into the distance. Goku then began charging towards Bulma, Yamcha, Puar, and Oolong. Yamcha said, "We can't outrun him. We have to think of a way to deal with him." Puar then said, "Yamcha, his tail, remember?" Yamcha said, "You're right, Puar." Yamcha then ran up to Goku's tail and attempted to slash at it with his sword, causing it to break. Yamcha then grabbed onto his tail hoping to weaken Goku. It seemed to be ineffective. Puar and Oolong then jumped on as well. Goku stiffened and froze completely. Yamcha yelled out, "Now's your chance, Puar! Transform into a pair of scissors and cut Goku's tail off." Puar nodded and said, "Right." Puar then transformed into a pair of scissors and cut off Goku's tail. Goku stiffened as he changed back into Goku without clothes. After a while, the sun began to rise. The group stood around Goku as he slept, as they talked about Goku and his possible origins while Puar was fast asleep. Oolong speculated that he was an alien. Suddenly, Goku begins to wake up. Goku, naked, stands up and asks, "Hey, where are my clothes?" Bulma asked, "You don't remember anything, do you, kid?" Goku shakes his head no, signaling that he does not remember. Bulma then says, "Oolong, give him some clothes to wear." Oolong says, "Not my most comfortable pair of underwear made from the best fabrics in the world." Bulma said, "Oolong." Oolong said, "Fine, fine. He could have my trousers." Oolong gives Goku his overalls. Goku then fell over, realizing that he cannot balance for some reason. Goku says, "Hey, what's going on?" Yamcha then said, "You probably just need to learn how to balance yourself without your tail." Goku asks, "My tail?" "Ah, where did it go? It just vanished." "Freaky, that's weird. How did it happen?" "I guess I'll just wait for it to grow back." The group sighed in exhaustion. Goku then said, "Oh, my power pole, and my weighted bands. Hold on, guys, I have to go find them." Goku runs off in the direction of the destroyed castle, repeatedly falling due to his missing tail. Oolong then asks, "What do we do now?" "We can't hunt for the Dragon Ball for the whole year," Bulma quietly said. "That makes sense, I suppose." Yamcha then wakes up Puar from his nap. Bulma said to herself, "Guess I'll have to wait a year for my perfect boyfriend." As Yamcha was saying to himself, "Guess I have to be nervous around girls for one more year. Man, what I would give to have a girlfriend." They look at one another and realize that their goals were highly similar. Goku finally returned with his power pole in hand and his bands on his arms and legs, only to see Bulma and Yamcha looking rather jubilant. Bulma then said, "Yamcha and I think we want to spend a little more time together, so we're both moving back to the city." Goku then said, "I think I want to go train some with Master Roshi like my grandpa did, so I can be big and strong." Bulma said, "But Goku, you're already super strong." Goku shook his head and said, "But something big came across and took down this whole castle. If something can do that, they must be stronger than me." Oolong then spoke up and said, "What are you talking about, Goku? You're the one?" Puar and Bulma quickly shushed him. Goku stared blankly at him. Bulma then said, "What about you, Oolong? Where are you going to go?" Oolong then said, "Well, I don't know. Do I look like a big city pig to you?" Bulma then said, "Are you kidding? You'd be the talk of the town." Oolong smiled and said, "Oh well, I suppose I'll go." Goku then says, "I know. In a year's time, we'll go look for the Dragon Balls again." Yamcha and Bulma then begin to laugh. Bulma then said, "We don't need Dragon Balls anymore, Goku." Goku then asked Bulma, "How would I ever be able to find my grandpa's ball if you're not there with your radar, Bulma?" Bulma then smiled and handed Goku the radar as a going-away present. Yamcha then threw a dino capsule at the ground, and out popped a small plane. Yamcha extended his hand out for Goku to shake, and Goku shook his hand in return. Goku then shouted out, "Flying Nimbus!" Goku then hops on his flying Nimbus, and Bulma and the others get on their plane. Goku is off to Master Roshi's, and the others are off to Bulma's city. and that's where we're ending this part. Thank you guys for watching. Next time, we'll actually see a lot of progress with Goku's power level training with Roshi. I wonder if it'll be enough to take down Jackie Chun in the World Martial Arts Tournament. Goku's power level is still at 50, but it will definitely be double, if not triple, his original power level in the original series. Either way, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment. I would love to hear from you guys. Thanks again. See you next time.